Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
And I'm Deniz the... Goddamn pigs! I've been touched by a pig, Jimmy. We have to stop the review. I have to take a shower.
Wait, calm down. Maybe I have something that helps.
Well, what is it? Come on, it's gross. Well, okay. That's refreshing. What is that stuff anyway?
Oh, that? Cow urine. Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
And I'm Deniz, the Buddymeister.
One of the very first Indian movies that I reviewed without you on this channel was Nagraj Manjule's Sairat. That was almost 2 years ago and it's still one of my favorite Indian movies. So it's really a shame it took us, and especially me, that long to watch and review Fandry, the first movie by director Nagraj Manjule.
Well, better late than never. I haven't seen Sairat, but I will surely do so, particularly because Fandry was a terrific and vigorous movie.
Vigorous is a very fitting word. Fandry is a fierce and angry debut. It's a call and outcry for freedom and justice.
Fandry is a Marathi language drama that was written and directed by Nagraj Manjule, and his films are deeply rooted in his own experience growing up as a Dalit in rural Maharashtra. Dalit is a common term used for an ethnic group in India that was excluded from the fourfold Varna system of Hinduism, the caste system. They were subjected to untouchability, a kind of fifth Varna or caste, the lowest one, which made them and still makes them outcasts.
Fandry, which means pig, focuses on the hardships faced by a Kaikadi family living in poverty on the outskirts of a caste-segregated village whose social and economic structure is dominated by members of Savarna communities. Jabya, the 13-year-old son, is disillusioned by this predicament and shows not only interest in school, but has also fallen in love with a higher caste girl named Shalu. He has never talked to her, but tries desperately to get her to notice him.
Jabya and his family are exploited and dehumanized by the villagers over and over again, and because of that, Jabya is embarrassed to be seen with his family, especially when it comes to Shalu. It's quite the heartbreaking story.
Sairat was also a story about two people from different castes, but contrary to that film where the forbidden inter-caste love between Archie and Parshia, our two leads, comes to fruition, in Fandry the love between Jabya and Shalu only exists in dreams and fantasies. It never comes to be. Of course, the story in Sairat doesn't end well at all, and the second half is really heavy and sad, but there was some real happiness and a thrill of anticipation before all that. In a way, Fandry is even sadder, because here the dreams of an innocent 13-year-old boy are crushed by the reality he has to live in.
Again, I haven't seen Sairat, but you showed me some snippets of it, and I think it's safe to say that Fandry is rawer in its approach. Not only through its narrative, but especially on a technical level, isn't it?
It definitely is raw. Sairat has these big musical set pieces, brought to life with a giant orchestra and sweeping cinematography. It lets the audience feel the rush and joy and lightheartedness of first love. Fandry is more restrained, more grounded, but in both films Manjule is working with new faces, actors and actresses that haven't worked before at all.
And they did a fantastic job for that. Somnath Avgade is terrific.
They were all great. Fandry is walking that fine line where in some moments you really can't tell if it's a fictional film or a documentary, because the acting is so natural and raw, as we said, but also the cinematography and the way the story is told. We take part in this village festival, for example, and that scene runs for quite a long time, but this way it really pulls you in.
That dance and drum sequence is very fascinating, and it also is one of many scenes that starts cheerful and ends on a sad and depressing note, in line with pretty much the whole movie, maybe except the ending, but generally Fandry is a calm and contemplative movie with small outbursts at specific moments.
Things are building up. It's like a barrel that is slowly filled with water. Sometimes it's shaking a bit and some water is spilled, but it's only at the end that the barrel overflows. And Jabya is the one who reaches that tipping point, who has enough of the discrimination, and that becomes the climax of the end of the movie.
It is important to know how the climax of the movie is established. As we said before, Jabia and his family are constantly belittled by the people who live in the village. Jabia is called a darky more than once, and the whole family is called worthless all the time.
And there are many scenes where you can see how all this hate is pressing on their shoulders. The father gets drunk and calls himself worthless. Jabia is afraid to be seen in any kind of unflattering light. They are embarrassed when they try to marry off their second daughter. It's a tough film to watch and one of those that will leave a strong impact, but isn't maybe the first choice to go back to. But Manjule doesn't fall into that trap of making just a misery porn film. Because though the message is very clear and the surroundings super harsh, it's not coming across as overtly manipulative or cheap.
I think so too. For that, the actors are too good and the direction and also editing too nuanced.
And also the whole setting too detailed and fleshed out. You can feel that Manjule really knows the subject matter and is a great filmmaker with a lot of passion and a lot of things to say.
Manjule himself is even in the film. He plays the spiritual bicycle mechanic Chankya. I think we don't know which caste Chankya belongs to, but what we do know is that he once was married to a girl that was forcefully taken away by her brother and that he was beaten very badly. So we obviously have another intercaste love story gone bad inside the bigger story. And Jabia's father doesn't want him being around his son because he's probably ashamed of seeing his son with another outcast.
Yeah, Chankya is also the one who tells Jabia and his friend Pirya about the Black Sparrow, which is an important motif in Fandry. According to a local legend, it is believed that if the ash of a burned black sparrow is sprinkled on someone, it hypnotizes them to fall in love with the person that did it.
Jabia and Pirya are searching for the Black Sparrow many times throughout the movie, but they actually never catch one.
Instead, Jabia and his family are instructed to find and chase away the pigs that are troubling the village. And the rest of our review will go into detail about the ending, because we think it's important to address it and what it meant to us.
Chasing away the pigs is again another menial job that has to be done by someone from the Dalit caste.
This search and chase away sequence is more or less the movie's finale. It takes up about half an hour for sure, it's very long. Unfortunately, the fact that the pigs are mostly CGI is very visible and it's a bit off-putting.
Yes, it is, but keeping in mind the low production budget, it's okay and doesn't take away from the power that this film has. But I still wish they would have worked around it a bit more.
The pig chase becomes this big event for the whole village, and another occasion where Jabia just wishes that the ground would open up and swallow him. But he cannot hide anymore.
The pigs are hiding between rocks right in front of the school, so all the students, including Shalu, watch this show that ends with the catching of one pig, but the damage to Jabia and his family is of course already done.
A thing I noticed in this film is how the family members treat each other, and I think that's very important. One might assume that they are very caring and supportive for each other because the world around them is so hostile. But there's barely a moment where they look after each other. Jabia has this strong friendship with another boy from his class and they are great together. But Jabia's family seemed to be a very loveless place for me, and I think that's very fitting for this story because when you are treated the way they are treated by everyone else, it's hard to develop strong human emotions and be kind to others.
That's a good point. I also think that the family, with the exception of Jabia, has totally accepted their place in society and they internalized this feeling of being worthless, especially the father.
That inhumane atmosphere of the finale is ever increasing towards the end, and when the family finally takes the pig away, we witness how the aforementioned barrel flows over.
Yes.
Jabia reacts and fights back. He screams and rants and throws stones at all those who call him and his family names, and those stones meet their targets. The final stone that he throws is directly approaching the camera and therefore us as viewers. And with that, the film ends.
It's a very powerful ending and a powerful statement.
Fandry has a social purpose. It shows that caste is used as an excuse to degrade human beings.
And with that final stone that hits us as viewers, we also have to ask ourselves, who is the Fandry?
Exactly. The theme sadly is more prevalent than ever. Not only in India, everywhere around the world, and Austria is certainly no exception. People should never be prejudged or discriminated for their birth, heritage, ancestry, religion, looks or whatever.
I've never been more in agreement with you, Jimmy. And to turn the corner and bring this review full circle, I think we're also in agreement when it comes to our rating about Fandry.
Yes, Fandry is a great movie, an angry and honest movie that needs to be seen. And Nagraj Manjule, an important voice that needs to be heard.
Well, then we should also exactly say that in German.
Fandry ist ein großartiger Film, ein wütender und ehrlicher Film, der gesehen werden muss. Und Nagraj Manjule eine wichtige Stimme, die gehört werden muss. I give Fandry 8 out of 10. It's more like 8.2, but I don't do that.
For me, it's also 8 out of 10. It's more like 8.3, but I don't do that either.
That's it for our review of Fandry. And next week we will review...
Black Sparrow! Black Sparrow!
Holy! We have to go! You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram simply at the Jimmy Cage.
And you can hit me up simply at the Buddymeister.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. Bye!
Oh, that's refreshing. Was ist das? Was ist das? Scheiße. Oh, no. Oh, well. Oh. It's refreshing. Was it? What is that stuff?